Hi students, how are you all? I am your social science teacher, Miss Loganayagi. I am going to teach you history, civics and geography for you. Yes, some of the videos you have seen from Mrs. Sheila. Again we are going to learn that lessons. Okay, today we'll start the lesson number 1 of history. Okay, yes. What do you know about the lesson number 1? Indian National Movement. Do you know this word? Already you have crossed this word in your 8th standard. Isn't it? Yes. Why India started a national movement? Do you know that? Yes. We were under the control of British. The British people came to India 1612. Okay, in the period of Mughal to do the trade business. They came in the year of 1612 in Jahangir period. Yes, and they were doing business. Slowly they were occupying the whole country by colonizing the country. That means they are going and settling the place and taking the economic rights and doing the trade. Slowly they are occupying the politically. Okay, then Indians were not united. That's why some new person came to inside that and started to rule us. Okay, this all you know well. Now they want to unite themselves. Indians want to unite themselves. Okay, so they started the Great Uprising. The word Great Uprising. Okay, first war of independence. They came to know that they were under the control of British. Slowly whole India under the control of British. Okay, nowadays we are easily going here and there by train or flight. Those days there is no proper transport system. So people cannot go from Kashmir to Tamil Nadu anywhere else easily. They have to walk or they have to use some carts, some animals to go on. It takes years together to move one place to another place, months together, isn't it? Yes. That's why they don't know what's happening whole India. Okay, whether this people were occupied, this British people occupied as a trade, or they occupied a political rights, they don't know anything. So when they come to know, it's almost 200 years over. Okay, I told you 1600 they came to India, but when people start join together and to fight, it takes 200 years. Okay, they realized they were under the control of British. So what are the things made them to protest again, to war against this British people? How they started the war? Really, is it a war, or what all the things they did? And first of all, what was the causes? Okay, what made them to protest against the British? They were doing quietly good only, no? 200 years they were silently, they are doing their work, Indians. But suddenly why they want to protest? Yes, some causes are there. There were political causes, social causes, religious causes, economic causes and military causes. And one more thing, immediately somewhere the protest started. Immediate cause. One more cause is there, immediate cause. This lesson we are going to learn this causes. Okay, yes, before that I want to show you the map where all the protest, that means people started to fight, showing their anger. Okay, Jhansi, Kanpur, Lucknow, Faizabad, Bareilly, Meerut, Delhi. Can you see the key? The main centers of the revolt, other centers of revolt. Okay, the all red rectangles are main triangles are red triangles are main centers of revolt. Okay, by the way, there are three names for this war. Okay, first war of independence, great uprising, revolt. Okay, and one more thing, Sipai mutiny. Okay, we can call by the name Sipai mutiny. Okay, there are some names for this protection, that means against the British. Okay, these are the places people started to fight against British people. Okay, these are the some places. Okay, even it's there in the down South India also, but commonly we can mention these places. Okay, some first causes, and we are going to look into the political causes. Okay, you keep this word in your mind, policy of annexation followed by the Lord Dalhousie. You know, children, the doctrine of lapse. Okay, the Indian people and the rulers well know how the English East India Company had taken recourse of the treasury. Okay, slowly they occupied the full India. That I told you. The main thing you want to know in this political cause, doctrine of lapse. This is, you know already, you know well in this 8th standard. Again, if you have 8th standard book, you open and read to more understanding. Okay, if you don't have book, no, since we didn't give book, so you can learn from your 8th standard book. Okay, see this this man, this Lord Dalhousie is a British governor. What he did, you know, if any king or queen doesn't have a baby on his own, okay, if they are not their own children, they will not allow them to adopt any children. Okay, that state belong to this British people. Okay, like that he made one rule that we call doctrine of lapse. Okay, doctrine of lapse all around annexation of Indian states, abolition of titles, pensions. Okay, first one by one we'll learn. Okay, first one is doctrine of lapse. That is, if they don't have heir, the proper children, they cannot rule the state. It should be automatically under the control of British. That is the rule of British. So that policy people hate. Okay, see, you know, if they don't have children, they can adopt the children and they can rule their country, their state, but their territory, but they are not allowing. Like that, some of the places were spoiled. Satara, Jhansi, Nagpur, these places that they don't have proper heir to continue the territory, to control. There is no proper kingdom. Okay, if the kings dies, there is no one to take care, but they cannot adopt also. So that kind of states will come under the control of British. This was made by Lord Dalhousie. We can call this policy doctrine of lapse. Okay, the next one we'll learn this next. Okay, yes, the next thing is disrespect of shown to the Bahadur Shah. Okay, number one, you learnt doctrine of lapse. Keep this in your mind, this word. Okay, by this one word you have to make a paragraph. Okay, what happened, what is the policy, which were the places where affect, you should know. Which was the lord that made this rule. Okay, that you should know. Okay, the second one, disrespect shown to Bahadur Shah. By the way, Bahadur Shah is the last Mughal ruler. Okay, he was the we can say he is the leader for this war. Okay, but they don't have any power at that time. They don't have any power, but all the people, those who are in this places, all they joined together. They made him as a leader to lead the war of independence. Okay, so but he doesn't have any power. After they defeated him, that he was sent out of the country to Rangoon. Okay, so after his children were staying in the Red Fort, they were sent out of the fort. and they cannot live in that kind of mahals. Okay, it was hurt the people, disrespect this own their old grandparents, grandparents, their pioneers build the buildings, but their children cannot live in that buildings. Okay, the house of Mughals was also humbled when English announced that after the death of Bahadur Shah II, the Mughals would lose the title of kings and his successors would have vacated the Red Fort. It hurt sentiments of the Muslims. It has been rightly remarked that the increase of the disrespect shown by the English to the emperor increased the aversion of the Indians for the British. Okay, this is made the people to hurt. The Muslim people was hurt by this, because this is their own, they are living there, but now they cannot live because they are taken the kingship title also. They no more they are kings. Okay, so that was hurt the Muslim people, and they cannot live in that mahals, Red Fort. So that also they made the angry to war against these British. Okay, the number 1 I told you, doctrine of lapse. Number 2 I told you, the disrespect of the Bahadur Shah. Okay, the number 3rd one is ill treatment of Nana Sahib and Rani Jhansi. Okay, now Bajirao II, the last Peshwa, adopted Nana Sahib as his son. After the death of Peshwa, the English refused to acknowledge Nana Sahib as the ruler of Marathas because he was adopted king here. He is not his own son. So they are not allowing Nana Sahib to rule that territory, the Marathas. So Rani Jhansi Lakshmi Bai was not allowed to adopt. Here she is not allowed to adopt the child. Already Bajirao adopted the son. They are not allowing them to rule the territory. So this is ill treatment. Okay, they don't like this kind of treatment. This is our own country. We can have all rights to rule this country, this territory, but they are not allowing to rule this. So this now you keep it in your mind. In this page you learnt about doctrine of lapse, disrespect of Bahadur Shah, ill treatment of Nana Sahib and Rani Lakshmi Bai, and some more points also we are going to learn. Yes, here the 4th one, annexation of Oudh. The Lord Dalhousie annexed Oudh to British Empire in under the pretext of the misgovernance. That what is misgovernance means, they are not ruling properly. You are not able to rule. Your rule is not good, so you give us, we are going to rule like that. This doctrine, this Dalhousie made this place out as annexed one. Okay, it was through the thousands of nobles, gentlemen, officers and soldiers out of the job. See, I am holding one territory, I am ruling that place, I have all ability to do, but someone is coming out of this country and coming and telling me you are not capable to rule, you are not ruling properly, you are misgovernance. Okay, this policy misgovernance, so give us, we are going to rule. So this Dalhousie only made this kind of rule, and he took this place Awadh. Okay, and many of them don't have any kind of job. The British confiscated the estates of the zamindars and talukdars. Okay, they took this all kings and nobles and gentlemen, and out of the thing they made the people to take care of the place, territory, that is zamindars and talukdars. Okay, it created dissatisfaction among the all classes of the people of Oudh. They rose in anger and became anger to the inimical to the English people. Okay, yes, they are getting very angry, they want to fight against the English people. Okay, disbanding the armies of the annexed states. Okay, you learnt doctrine of lapse, number 1. Number 2, you learnt this disrespect of Bahadur Shah. Number 3, you learnt ill treatment of Nana Sahib and Jhansi. Number 4, you learnt the annexation of Oudh. And the number 5, you are going to learn disbanding the armies of the annexed states. Already they annexed Oudh, they annexed Jhansi, they annexed Marathas. So this kind of places came under the control. Okay, Delhi they annexed. So the way this soldiers were there Okay, they don't want to continue that kind of soldiers. They want to create one new troops. Okay, all such states that were annexed by the company had their troops disbanded. Okay, all the states had some troops, isn't it? Some soldiers, army people. Yes, now they cannot continue that. They want to create a new one. As a result, thousands of families lost their means of livelihood. Yes, all the people of the soldiers and other people, the officers, they don't have work now. It's everything under the control of the company, that is British. Okay, the disbanded the soldiers blamed the British company for their reign and determined to take revenge. They spread hatred against the English by agitating the people. What happened? All were soldiers and other military people. They were thrown out of the job. So they all are keeping in their mind. They have the revenge to get the correct time to fight against the English people. Okay, next one, effect on other princes. Okay, the aggressive and the provocative policy of the Lord Dalhousie also made the other Indian rulers whose states had not been annexed suspicious of the design. They began to think that they would also meet the similar fate. So something happened in North India, the South Indian or East India and West India kings also may think, okay, this will come to us also. So we should be more conscious. Okay, more caution we should take. We should make this British people away from us. So like that they were also thinking, and they are ready to fight. Okay, next, corrupt and inefficient administration. This is important thing, children. Already they said you don't know how to rule the place. They took the oath, but here they themselves, they don't know how to rule us. They were not at all giving the good administration to the Indian people. The British administration in India was corrupt and inefficient. Okay, the English had a feeling of superiority and treated the Indians with the contempt and arrogance and insulted them. Okay, we are not at all equal to them. They didn't think we are human. They were thinking we are just dogs. Okay, so they are treating us like that. They thought we don't have any intelligent knowledge or anything. We don't have. Just we are laborers. Okay, the main aim of the English officers was to enrich themselves at the cost of Indians. They want to make more money from India. That is only their aim. The Indians did not consider them as their benefactors. Okay, they didn't think we are the one who are giving us them. We are giving them money and in the way of business. They didn't think of that. Okay, they did not consider them as their benefactors, and the British rule had them as thus became unbearable. We cannot bear this, their control, their administration, their inefficient rules. We cannot control this. So these are the points for the political cause.